On 27th of February 2025, the chess world lost a great legend of the game, Boris Spassky. He was the 10th world chess champion and was a great gentleman of the game. And today's video is kind of a respect to the contributions that he made to the chess world, and we are going to have a look at some important games of Boris Spassky and how he managed to beat some of really good players in the past. Boris was, I think he became one of the youngest world champions at that youngest GMs at that time, at the age of 18, and he became the 10th world champion by defeating another great legend, Tigran Petrosian. So yeah, without any delay, let's get on to it. This is the first position. We're not going to have a look at the whole game, but this is just kind of critical positions where we have to think. If you want to look at the full games of these, do comment below, guys. I'll put the link to the games. You guys can see those games. So this is the first position that we have. It's the World Junior Championship. It's Boris who's playing white, and it's Avtonomov. Okay, so this is the position. White has a nice blockading square on d4, which Boris makes use of. He puts his knight on d4. It's a great positional move, and king f8, getting out of line of fire, right? He's unpinning. So naturally white's position is way better than black because of the king safety, because of the pieces. The black's rooks are disconnected and white is all ready for the attack, right? Spassky plays knight f5, and after h5, it's time for you guys to pause the video. I know guys, it's for those who know chess a little bit better. You guys are screaming about the move, and those who are not so much familiar with chess, I would encourage you to do the tactics trainer, right? Try to get your tactics right. White to play rook takes d5, boom, an exchange sacrifice in the middle of the board. And this is all possible because of that king on f8. It's the weak king which facilitates this sacrifice. Black did not put up a lot of resistance. He just gave in, and he played queen takes d5, which allowed queen takes e7 after king g8, queen takes f6 with the dual threats of queen g7 and knight e7. It ends the game because both cannot be defended. If you defend the mate, there is a nice fork, and if you defend the queen, if you defend the queen, then it's a checkmate. Very nice game. So the second one is here. The second position is this one, and white to play here. Not a very difficult move to guess. There's a great pawn on d7. White to play, he makes use of that pawn. He makes use of the lever, and he goes rook c8. Spassky is white here. The great Tigran Petrosian is black, and this is the 1969 match which I was mentioning. I think this is the fourth or fifth game. I don't really remember the details. Again, if you guys really want to have a look, if you are a great chess enthusiast, do comment below. I'll just put the links to the games. But having a look at this position, black is in great danger. He cannot take on c8 because because then there's a new queen that comes up, and black just loses the house, and he loses the game. He has to resign. So instead the Tigran Petrosian played, after rook c8, a logical move, knight b7, knight c6, and after knight d6, I want you guys to pause the video again to find a move. It's not such an easy move as compared to the last position, but it's a very beautiful move. It highlights the power of the pawn on d7 and makes use of that pawn. So I hope you guys pause the video. It's knight takes d8, a dazzling queen sacrifice, which leaves Tigran Petrosian with a very bad position after knight c6. There's no defense against rook takes f8, king takes f8, and queening. Let me explain that. Like, if black takes, then we obviously take back with the pawn and we get a new queen, and then we also win the knight, so that is no good. And if anything else, but what else? There is nothing else here. The knight and the rook combining attack on d8. I mean, they are controlling the d8 square, so it is game over for black side, right? And another great game, another great victory. Spassky went on to win the 69 World Championship match, and he was the 10th world champion, as I mentioned. And in 1972, he again lost it to another great legend, Robert James Fischer, right? And yeah, so let's go further. Boris Spassky is black, and this is a position that he's playing against the great Bent Larsen. Bent Larsen didn't become a world champion, but he himself was a really strong player. I think he came very close to becoming a world chess champion, but I just remember that he lost in 1971 against Fischer in the quarterfinals, or maybe I think, yeah, it was the quarterfinals, in which Fischer beat Bent Larsen 6-0, right? Okay, so rook g1, Bent Larsen's last move. It's black to move. Pause the video, guys. Another cracker move by Spassky. Spassky's games, when I had a look, they are of course positional games, very, very solid, but once it comes to tactics, Spassky was no less than Tal here, right? And he plays this great move, rook h1, boom, right? And it's kind of a shocking move to see if you're white, and Bent Larsen takes it. And again, the power of the pawn is just showcased here. After g2, it's clear that if the rook goes to g1, after check, king d1, queen f2, the rook will have to give itself up. So what instead Bent Larsen does is he doesn't go rook g1, he goes rook f1, and after queen h4 check, he goes king d1, takes, bishop takes, and bishop takes g4. I think the game ends here, because Bent Larsen just resigns. But if you would go further, then it is very simple. If white goes king c1, we have queen e1 check. It's kind of a back rank mate. And what else? If bishop e2, we play queen h1. There's no space for that king. The poor king again has to resign, so it's game over. I mean, it is a checkmate, not resignation. So yes, another important game for Spassky. This game is very important. It comes often in the tactics trainer. If you guys have, if you guys are regularly solving tactics or have solved any famous games or having a look at the famous games, then this game should be there always, because it is one of the great games, right? Okay, the last one is very important from the historical point of view, and it's the 1972 World Championship match between Boris Spassky and the mighty Robert James Fischer. Well, Fischer was the I mean, he was not the clear favorite, but he had a lot of follow. I mean, he had built up a lot of energy before this match. He had shown some great play in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and in the finals leading up to the match. And it was a great match setup, because the USSR and USA were in a war, in the Cold War, and Fischer was carrying the entire weight of the nation, because nobody wanted him to lose at that point. And Spassky again came from the Russian school of chess, which again dominated the chess world for a considerable amount of time during those days. And so this game, the first game of the 1972 World Championship match, is very important. And from the opening point of view also, it is very important, because regularly Fischer had played the King's Indian, and here he deviates and goes into a rash defense. And it is a beautiful I mean, it's a very kind of positional game, and it felt as if none of the players wanted to take any risk early on, and it was played very solidly by both players. And we come down to this position where it's an end game. Spassky offers the trade of the knights, and he trades the knight, and it's very clear from this position that it's going to end in a draw. But there was a twist in the tale, right? This position, when was reached, and when Fischer made his move, he just shocked the entire world with his move. Fischer played the horrible looking after b5. I'm sorry. After b5, it's Fischer's move, and he plays bishop into h2. And I'm pretty sure if I was in the spectators hall, I would have been shocked as well, because any good chess player would know that grabbing h2 is not good when there are pawns on g2 and f2. It's a very popular game from historical standpoint, and of course g3 is played. This game has been analyzed a lot, and it has been annotated by Fischer himself. And after this, they did play on for another 5 or 10 moves, but I think Fischer in his analysis, I think he mentioned there was a draw for black somewhere, but no, Spassky did not allow it. He just converted this beautifully, avoiding any exchanges there after a6. Perfect Russian school of chess training comes into play here. And Fischer has to go down in this end game. Spassky just manages to run Fischer out of moves, and he converts this position. This is a win for white, and Spassky takes home the first game, and it's a big blow to the Americans, right? And there are a lot of expectations from Fischer, and he loses the second game as well. and he gets frustrated, and this is where it's important to mention the sportsman spirit that Boris Spassky carried. I think without Boris Spassky's humbleness, it would have been difficult for Fischer to win the 1972 World Championship match. I think a lot of demands were agreed to by Boris. One of the crucial things among them was agreeing to shift the game to backstage after the second game, and Boris Spassky agreed to it. And it was the third game that Fischer won, and from there he didn't go down, right? So yes, we this video is kind of a small tribute to the great chess legend Boris Spassky. We respect his contributions to the game. Do comment, do like, guys, and do comment and let us know which was your favorite, or if you have any other favorite Spassky game, do let us know. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, keep on playing chess. Bye bye.